My name is Tapia, and tonight is the year in review with 2015 predictions. I'm Mario, president of MobileMonday, and had a couple of questions. How many people are here the first time tonight at a MobileMonday? Wow, it's half of you guys all the time. So MobileMonday, grassroots organization, we focus on mobile topics from mobile app development, IoT, basically the entire ecosystem, and we try to keep you up to date on what's going on. Definitely here in the Valley, there's a lot of topics that are trending, and we like to expose that to you. So in the US, we're in a lot of different cities, so very much like tonight on a Monday night, one of these cities and more are having a meetup just like this. We're also in 140 cities around the world, so we're in London, and Berlin, Tel Aviv, and Tokyo. So a large expanse, a large network, and you have people just like you who are interested in mobile technologies, mobile industry. From the surveys that we take when you guys register, this is kind of your demographic. We're about, who are the developers in here? Cheers. How many people product and marketing? Business development, sales, UX people. Is there media? Is there anybody from media? All right, so that's kind of our community. I think we're almost over 15,000 now in the database. And then I can't do this alone. So we have Ryan Bloomer, who's out here, Monica, and you'll see her also doing a lot of our business development. She's out in the back with Ryan. Chelsea and Stephanie, who you probably saw on the way in. So Chelsea's over there sitting down, and Stephanie's there taking pictures and helping do social media. So, and they're working really hard on social media. And then we have John Lynn, who's our historian. So if you guys want to share this event tonight with someone else, in about a week or so, it'll be up on YouTube. And there's about 60 plus other videos up on YouTube. So a little bit like what we do, we have monthly meetups like this. So this is kind of the general assembly. We do our labs, which some of you have been to. How many people have been to a lab? It's like 50, like really engineers only, about 50 folks. And then we have our dinners, which is more of it's like if you're a founder, executive at mobile companies, we have a large company that typically sponsors, and we circle around a different topic. And then we have also Mobile University, and Mobile University really focuses on like one-day events to do a deep dive into certain technology. Here are a lot of our corporate partners. Where to find us? How many people found us on Meetup? Cool. How many people got the Eventbrite kind of forwarded over to you? A handful. Great. You can also find us on Twitter, MobileSB, Facebook, MobileMonday SB, and on YouTube, MobileMonday SB. Also wanted to say thanks to our sponsors, Adobe. Give them a round of applause for Adobe for helping us with that. We also have, I think, Net Power and Light, and Duvel sends their condolences because they have the dates mixed up. But they'll be here next time for your sponsor. And then, do you want a couple of words to say? Talk about Adobe? Yeah. So we have Brett is he's our host from Adobe, and he wanted to talk.
Hello.
Perfect.
Hey, Ray, thank you for joining us here at Adobe, and we're very delighted to host Mobile Monday. First off, shout out to our security team out here, doing a great job taking care of business. It's amazing how many emails I had to answer just to have a couple of people here, some pizza and wine, but it's all worth it. So in advance of this meeting, I looked in the app catalogs, and I know that Adobe is well known for Photoshop and Illustrator desktop apps. But you might be surprised to know that 20 applications in the Android catalog made by Adobe employees, over 30 in the iOS catalog, and that doesn't even count the applications that are being developed with the Creative SDK, which is available to iOS developers now and Android soon. This is a tremendous opportunity for developers. I saw quite a few hands here, UX people, and even startups. How many people are from startups here? Look at all those hands. I love it. That's the big slice of the pie that was missing on that slide. The similar situation for startups. Adobe acquired My Startup Pixel Pipe last year. They've also brought in Avery team, which just joined, and quite a few other little smaller startups. But there's a great ecosystem to join a really cool company that's doing really innovative things as a small company and not get swallowed up in some big giant Intel machine. So anyways, I just wanted to say thanks for coming. Please talk to the lovely ladies at the demo stations over there. We're going to be demoing Photoshop Mix, which is a cool application doing online composites. Part of the cool thing about is using the Creative SDK, but part of the processing is on the actual handset, and then all the heavy lifting actually goes up into the cloud for a little bit of Adobe magic, and it comes back down. So anyways, check that out. Adobe Voice is a contest. We're going to draw a card for a very limited edition water bottle. I'm serious, it's very limited. It's only 75. And then I think there's a Lightroom demo. Anyways, thanks, Mario.
Thanks for hosting us, guys. So don't forget, we have SaaS Pass, the latest in technology. Also has got an awesome table. You should check that out. So basically, how many people use two-step authentication? How many people don't? Really? That's why security sucks in California. But yeah, so two-step authentication, take a look into it. It's pretty much what you should be doing so you don't get your Gmail account hacked or your Twitter account or other things. We also have Digify, who's also doing secure documents, so it's like Snapchat for the enterprise. And again, also Adobe's back there as well if you guys want to stop by on the way out. So I have another announcement for the people interested in IoT. How many people are working on an IoT wearable startup? All right, so we have a small program for you. We've already done our first one that's developing for IT, and we had different types of platforms that have the BLE and Wi-Fi stuff on it. Tomorrow night, how many people have seen the Jawbone? How many people have seen the Jambox? How many people know of Yves Bahar? So Yves Bahar's team is coming tomorrow night to talk a little to share about design and the principles, and so that's tomorrow night in Burlingame. You can find us on Meetup through Mobile Monday. And then we're also going to take you to also show you how to fabricate your IoT and wearable design. So now that you have kind of a concept, you give you some principles around the design, how to do your electronic packaging, and then go into like how do I 3D print this. And we're going to go to the tech shop. There's going to be some people there to show you how to do laser cutting 3D printing. And then in January, we'll be doing funding. We'll go to market research with Indiegogo. And so Indiegogo is going to show you how to set up a campaign, what's kind of required for you to do that, and what works best. And then also show you how to growth hack that, so you guys get the best value out of it. And then we'll also then go into a factory where they make Xboxes and some other really interesting high-end products, consumer electronics, that is built in Silicon Valley, right? It's awesome. So you don't have to go to Taiwan, you don't have to go to China to actually get something built. You can actually, just like a lot of startups are doing today, built, designed in Silicon Valley. So we should be showing you how to produce that at scale as well. So check us up on Meetup. We definitely have openings for that the next couple of sessions. So tonight, as part of the history, was the night before funding. How many people have already heard this one before? All right, so this is the updated version. This is version 2014. So it was the night before funding. I'm already talking. It was the night before funding when all through the bay, not a VC was stirring, not even Ron Conway. The term sheets were hung by the chimney with care in hopes that Idris and Draper would soon be there. The founders were all nestled snug in their beds while visions of engineers danced in their heads. And the devs at their laptop reviewing the stack had just nestled their brains for how long they had. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a drone, tore open the blinds, and peered on my home. The moon cast upon a new fallen snow gave luster of waves, small objects below, when which of my wondering eyes would not make up but miniature curates to and 8 tiny startups. With a little old investor so lively and gay, I knew in a moment it must be Ron Conway. More rapid than eagles, his investments they came, and he whistled and shouted, and they called him by name. Now Tumblr, now Secret, now Wicker and Wildfire, on Grindr, on Snapchat, on WhatsApp, and Pied Piper. To the top of the SP bang, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, exit it, away home. Just as the butterflies before a live demo day, the team flew across the sky, lifting our way. So up to the Salesforce Tower, the founders, they flew with a sleigh full of banknotes in Conway, too. And then in a twinkling, I heard the ringing of a tweet, the prancing and pawing of little tiny feet. As I drew in my head and I was turning around down the chimney, Conway came with a bound. He was dressed all in swag from head to his foot. His clothes were all labeled with logos and such. And a bundle of notes were flung on his back, and he looked like a techie just opening his backpack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his stature, how short and merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the hair of his head was as white as the snow. The stub of a cigar he held tight in his teeth, and he smoked and encircled his head like venture beat. He had a broad face and a little round belly, and shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old angel, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of my able. And a wink of an eye and a tap of Apple Pay soon gave me to know it was going my way. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and signed all the term sheets and then turned with a jerk. And laying his finger aside of his nose and nodding, giving a nod, off he went with Calcanus and Kim and Rose. They sprang to his sleigh, and his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew looking down on the whistle. But I heard him exclaim as he drove out in sight, happy fun to all, and if you drink too much, take an Uber or Lyft. All right. Merry Christmas, everybody. Do you have an announcement, Stephanie? Did you want to do your announcement? What?
After.
At the very end?
Yes, please.
Okay, so people have to behave towards the very end. Do not get up and leave. We will have an announcement at the very end. Okay, great. So the year in review. This is basically like why we do this tonight. Basically to summarize what happened this year in venture world. We have a very diverse and dynamic venture crowd. They'll talk a little bit about what happened and kind of what their thoughts are of the industry. We'll look at acquisitions, wearables, the app ecosystem, about privacy, and funds. There's lots of funds going and starting, so we'll take a look at that. So right now, I'd just like to welcome the panel. Come on up and take seats. Give a round of applause. You get some intro music. Okay. I have an extra mic, guys, if you want to just pass it around like that. All right. So I'm going to pull up this slide, the big slide, guys, that we looked at how mobile compares to rest of traditional media, and then looking at the growth that it's had over the last couple of years, in reference to online radio and TV. And this is more of kind of a statement of showing, well, where the mobile industry is going, and then how it's leaving traditional media behind, and how I think we're engaging with their personal devices. Like, I guess the question to the panel is like, since you've been in mobile or in focus in tech, what has been your experience, at least in the last 5 years, the growth and penetration of mobile in general? How have you seen it grow? And I'd love to be someone to take the first shot, or Jeffrey.
There's more mobile users than there were 5 years ago.
But what is it right now? Is it really everyone on the planet has a mobile device now? Is it 6 billion? Something like that.
There's more mobile devices than mobile users now.
No, than people.
It's not 1-to-1, right?
Yeah, because of the IoT, of freaking like devices.
Amongst other things, yes.
Machines.
Well, I mean, we kind of talked about this earlier, and I think, it wasn't that long ago, it was maybe 10 years ago, when there was this thing called internet. There were internet companies and internet investors and internet stuff. And today that's kind of taken for granted, and everything in some way, shape, or form leverages the internet. And we're kind of in the same place in mobile, which is that we used to have a separate mobile investing group. We had mobile companies. There still are mobile first companies, but really, the notion of mobile as a separate little entity is kind of gone. It's a part of everything, and part of a mobile company.
But in addition to that, it's the fact that mobile, unlike the internet that was, let's just say, tethered to your desktop back in the day, your mobile device goes everywhere with you, and it allows you to bridge the gap between the physical and the digital world. And a big part of what mobile brings us is all the sensors that come connected to your mobile device. And what the mobile software does that wires it all together is a big part of what has grown mobile in general and the app ecosystem as well.
And yeah. And I think what's also driving the mobile growth is that mobile is also taking over the internet, so to speak, right? So you gotta develop whatever you do if you sell stuff or in mobile in the first place. And so as today is Cyber Monday, right? And when you shop, I mean, I was sitting on my TV today, and I was not on my PC shopping, but I was on my iPad obviously, right? This is also mobile, right? And this is a trend that even actually growing even faster.
And I would just add, I think we're preaching to the choir, right? But it's incredible how mobile is eating the world, to paraphrase Mr. Andreessen, right? Who needs an extra S or something. You think about not just PCs going to post-PC tablets and phones, but mobile devices are taking over messaging, from email to new forms of messaging. They're taking over landline communications, going to a whole generation of millennials that don't have a landline phone. It's taking over the cable TV industry with cable cutting and entertainment consumption moving. So when you have a confluence of that many billion-dollar to trillion-dollar markets all moving to these devices, it's pretty big.
So just to add to that, obviously transport, your mobile phone can now get you a car in a very short period of time. Whereas before the phone was primarily for communication, telephone calls, it's shifted to be obviously messaging and things like that. But it's transportation, it's your dinner, it's whatever you want it to be really. Everything is being taken by this device.
The mobile devices. Yeah, I wonder what the conversation in 10 years, I wonder what that'll be. Will it still be the mobile phone? Will it be the watch? Will it be, I wonder what that,
Be implanted somewhere.
yeah, I wonder where that will be.
Well, I'm also curious, in this audience, since we're all very mobile focused, what percentage of us still use our mobile devices mostly as a phone versus a data service? I mean, I, for one, chat on my phone maybe at most about 10% of all my mobile usage time is actually spent chatting, and I think that's a high number. But I think most of us use it as a data service.
Millennials don't call each other anymore, and they freak out when you call. Why are you calling me? Like,
One of our,
yeah.
just say, one of our companies, they collected about several thousand home screen snapshots from their users. And one of the data nuggets they found was 19% of their users didn't have the phone app on their home screen. So the telephone application functionality wasn't one of their core things they put on their home screen.
I brought up this next slide, and this has to do with mobile internet revenue. Perfect, yeah, that works, yeah. Perfect. Revenue, and this is basically just predictions for 2017 growth, and it really kind of just dissects all the revenue generated over a mobile device, and it has commerce, wearables, mobile web, ad spend, enterprise mobility, but the big one is commerce. And just like Bernhard was talking about today, you were really saying like, hey, I was doing shopping instead of probably reading email or something else, right? But how many people shop on their mobile device, like retail? Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was like 4 years ago, Macy's who had a really crappy mobile experience, and they were finding out that a lot of their users were using the Safari browser to go to the real web experience and then do some type of purchase that way. I can't just imagine doing that today anymore.
You know, to some extent, a lot of the services we all use is a form of shopping. Right? So you're ordering food, that's a form of mobile commerce. If you're via, Grubhub or Munchery or whatever you have to use, and so those are all commerce applications in the form of mobile device.
But mobile commerce is, in my worldview, a giant opportunity. We get a lot of email marketing from a lot of the services that we subscribe to all the time. There's a lot of goods that are being peddled, but clicking and being able to sort of deep link into a purchase and making that a frictionless experience, still it hasn't been optimized. And there's a lot of opportunity around that, making mobile shopping just that much easier.
And there's some business model challenges there, right? Where, shopping where you have to manually enter your credit card in a mobile web browser on your phone is not a delightful experience, but a lot of merchants don't want to pay a significant revenue share to Apple or Google to use some of the more frictionless built-in payments at the OS level. So it'll be interesting to see how that evolves over time.
Let's pull up this next slide. It's m-commerce, and it just focuses on that. 500 billion sales driven by Asia, America, and Europe. And you see the bulk of it is Asia is really a large contributor to mobile commerce. And let's discuss, well, one is why. Why would that be a factor over the different regions? And what could be some plausible contributors? And it's looking at smartphone and tablets that are really, are these the growth areas for?
They're probably more comfortable historically with mobile technology, more people. But it doesn't look like we're too far behind.
It's not access to PCs. Would that also be a contributor? Or is this just the number of people in general? Asia. We just look at Asia as a population. But yeah, I think you can see Latin America, Middle East, Africa.
Those are emerging opportunities that Latin America, great opportunities.
Maybe the region's just a little bit behind the curve. But let's go on to the next one here. Yeah.
There's not. So the reason why, I'm just going to shoot from the hip here, but the reason why Middle East, Africa, Latin America, and Eastern Europe would be the smaller sections is there are certainly less people with substantial financial abilities and less services oriented to those markets and just less payment methods. Right? Even credit cards are not particularly
Non-cash payments.
Yeah. And Middle East is very much of a cash economy type of thing. So.
And then this one looks on we move from m-commerce over to consumer apps and the consumer app business. For the last almost 8 years, it's been kind of the zeitgeist of mobile. It's all about apps. We forgot about infrastructure. We forgot about payments. We forgot about a lot of stuff because the focus has really been about apps. And this one still shows, the bulk of revenue being driven by games, right? It's the big solid blue one at the bottom. But then productivity is starting to kick in, etc. Is this ever going to change? Is games always going to be the revenue generator of mobile?
I think especially in the millennial world that we live in, I think communication, we perceive it as should be free. It should be for sure frictionless and free and built into our mobile experience. Social aspect. A lot of these categories we perceive as free. Gaming, though, historically, for the most part, has always been a paid category, whether it's console gaming or not. I think there's going to always be a fortune to be made in gaming, unfortunately, it's a hit or miss category. From an investment perspective, it can be difficult. Productivity, we're usually willing to pay for productivity tools though.
Isn't it interesting? I mean, we are talking about all the apps all the time. If you really look at the numbers, and it's just like not even 10 billion. I think it's worldwide. Like all the stuff, if you just take gaming away, you know. And but I still think, you know, that apart from games, there's a lot of potential and opportunity for growth for us as well. Because I don't have any numbers, but I think it's just like it's so far easier, you know, to pay stuff, you know, on mobile, right, on iOS especially, a couple of bucks, you know, for any app. And this, everything is for free, you know, economy that you had on the internet is like perceived, at least, you know, it's not so much mobile.
I think the other thing this masks a bit, I think you might actually have a slide on this. You know, this sort of refers to the monetization of the actual application, which is separate from the service delivered by the application, which is subsequently monetized. So as an example, you know, the Uber service revenue that's created from their mobile application isn't reflected here, right? Which is, it's not necessarily the app that's creating the revenue. You don't pay to download the app, but that app delivers a service. And so a lot of these other categories are creating avenues for services that are highly monetized and have a massive multi-billion-dollar market that aren't necessarily a function of one paying a few bucks an app. And that's which is very different than the gaming world.
Got it. Yeah, like it could be like a hotel tonight, et cetera. Yeah. This one here, this slide kind of starts to look at that. It's like mobile internet investment record. It's like, where's the money going? You know, where are we putting our dollars? And and it says, hey, VCs love mobile internet. 269% investment growth just in the last year. Within an equivalent span, it's almost tripled. And it doesn't look like it's stopping.
So the areas that obviously are jumping out to us here, right behind your head, I don't know if you can see the pie chart. We got travel, transport, and utilities. I mean, mobile embraces travel and transport, right? The GPS, the inherent GPS functionality. So there's obviously a lot of untapped opportunity there still. I almost wonder if like Uber falls into that category. I'm not sure if that's right. Go ahead.
If you could rename that great call out, VCs love businesses that lots of consumers use. Because the rapid growth of smartphone usage correlates exactly to investment trends where consumers are going and spending their time.
Very true. And then messaging is still, I don't think messaging is still burned out. I think there's still a lot of runway there. Just where I think, WhatsApp has created a medium for the rest of the world to really bypass SMS feeds to the operator. That's basically what it did. And and message me, and a lot of these other ones were really meant to like, how do I stop paying per SMS fee? Because overseas, definitely not in the US, we're used to these buckets of unlimited, but overseas it's actually pretty expensive to be messaging each other. I still think there's still opportunity and growth there.
Messaging does, as you get to scale with messaging, to your point, I mean, mobile is a mass market medium, we'll call it. And as you get to mass scale with your messaging service, it enables other transactions. As you may have been mentioning, payments, eventually other things. But there's a lot of transactional activity that can happen in that a trusted messaging platform.
So I make that jump.
Yeah, I mean, to add on to messaging, I think, and to add on to the payment side, obviously a huge majority of the Facebook users come in through mobile, right? Not through computers. And the global remittances business is north of $500 billion a year, and it's dominated by relatively old players. So I wouldn't be surprised if Facebook was kind of delving into remittances with their messaging products. Maybe no one else is surprised as well.
That's true, but part of the rationale why I think, Facebook also paid this 19 billion was that WhatsApp was growing so fast, much faster even than Facebook once did, right? And Facebook, to me, that's kind of the old internet world. That's how they started, right? It was a website connecting people. And the power and why we see, really love mobile so much, right? Of how fast you can grow if you want to go viral. It's WhatsApp was showing actually, right? So much faster growth.
As you should see, like payments, there's not much. I mean, right now I'm going into commerce, but so that I'd like to maybe hit individually, maybe Bernhard, like where are your interests? I mean, you have your personal interest in investment. What's like I love this area and it's awesome for growth, or maybe not, but it's one of your special things that you like.
Yeah, I mean, I love all areas that grow, obviously, and also because we're mentioning WhatsApp, so I'm a corporate VC, it's a mobile or Deutsche Telekom company, so I'm in between, I would have loved to be invested in WhatsApp, obviously, right?